Hi, it's Pastor Paul L. Anderson here at the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing. It is Satisfaction Saturday, the satisfaction in knowing God has kept us all week long. We're now at the last day of the week. Remember, the Saturday is the seventh day of the week. Sunday is the first day of the week. And we pause at this day to say, God, I thank you for keeping us all week long, and we're able to bring it to a close. Please look with me today out of Matthew's Gospel, the 8th chapter, verses 18 through 22 from the New Living Translation. Very powerful text. It's a text where Jesus talks about the true cost of following him, or the true cost of discipleship. You know, in all of our lives, whenever we're about to make a major purchase, most of the time, many of us would do what is called a cost analysis. I don't know if you've ever bought a home. You want to make sure that you find the right interest rate. You want to make sure that the terms are just what you need. You have to find out if it fits in your budget. You have to know how much you can qualify for. Have you ever tried to buy a car, especially the one that you wanted? It all depends upon the terms and the arrangements that you're able to work out with the dealership or whoever's financing it, unless you are so blessed to have enough money to pay it down and reduce the price because you have cash. It is nothing like having what you need. Jesus wants his disciples to know, just as you make everyday life decisions about purchasing things, you and I should count the costs of true discipleship. You know, many times we don't know how to truly count the cost of something because we've never been taught. You know, we live in a society that's filled with so many inequities, and how so many people have an advantage over others because they were advantaged because of pigmentation of skin to have certain economic rights and privileges and lands and opportunities for buy-sell agreements and for purchase options. And sometimes people don't get that. That's the reason we have to pray for those who have lived in this country all these years and have found themselves being deprived of such opportunities. And then we have to pray for those who are just coming to the United States and those all over the world, that God will bless them. But Jesus is talking about something that is more greater than an economic gain, more greater than an investment. He talks about the true cost of discipleship. In Matthew, the 18th chapter, Jesus sees the crowds that are around him, and he instructs his disciples to cross over to the other side of the lake. I think that is so powerful. It's pivotal because he talks about going from where you are to where he wants you to be, crossing over to the other side. You know, all of us need to make a decision in our lives that we're going to leave from where we've been and get to the place where God would have us to be. I think that's crossing the lake for us personally. So in the text, he lets us see that there was one of the religious teachers who had been following Jesus. Now, you must understand there were a group of persons who were known as the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and the scribes. And many of them did not subscribe to what Jesus was teaching. But we find out here in the text, there was a teacher of religious law who seemingly has this special attention to what Jesus is doing. He's saying, this sounds like nothing I've never heard. This man must be the Messiah. So he grows closer to Jesus' teaching. He follows him. He goes on the other side with the disciples. And then he says something to Jesus in the text. He said, "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." Even though you left one side, went to the other side, he said, "I will follow you wherever you go." Now, Jesus does something that is so powerful here in the text. He replies to him. He says, "Foxes have dens to live in, birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." Oh, that is so powerful. Jesus lets us see here in this passage, this man wants to follow him. But Jesus said, if you follow me, you must understand exactly what you're doing. He says, foxes have holes, birds have nests. Then he says, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. See, Jesus was one of those persons in his day that he lived somewhat of a nomadic life. He was always moving around. You could never find him in one place long. Why? Because he was on a mission. His mission was not to establish property. It's not his purpose to have a situation where he was in forever, but he wanted to get everywhere he could and touch the lives of so many people. He realized he didn't need to be in one area, but he needed to move around to be in multiple places. You know, that leads all of us into a place that we must ask ourselves, are we building our lives on a temporary situation, or is it eternal heaven gain that we are aiming for? Jesus wanted everybody to know about the good news of the Father, and so he had to be in multiple places. This man says, I'll follow you wherever you go. Jesus says, I don't know if you know the true cost of following me, because the true cost of following me, you might not know where you're going to be next. You know, God does that in so many ways. He teaches us to walk by faith and not by sight. Here in the text, he begins to let us know that it's important for us to count the true cost of the discipleship. Then another one of his disciples says, Lord, before I follow you, let me first go home and tell my mama and my daddy goodbye. Another one said, well, let me go home and bury the dead. You know, it's amazing that so many people, when Jesus is giving them an invitation to follow, they come up with an excuse. I hope you don't have an excuse. I hope I don't have an excuse. I hope I'm willing to say, Lord, wherever you go, I'll follow. I understand there might be uncertainty, but the thing that I know is certain, that if I'm with you, everything will be all right. I want to remind you, my brothers and sisters, if you and I keep on following Jesus, everything will be all right. We don't have to worry about our temporary situation because we know that God is with us and that is permanent. And then the permanent situation is that the Bible tells us everything we thought we experienced on earth will have it multiplied in heaven. Well, God bless you. Heaven smile upon you. I'll see you tomorrow in worship here at the Fountain, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for all of your gifts and donations that you've given to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. We thank you for what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you will do in the future. Your gifts and donations helps us to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only locally, but throughout the world. Thank you again for your gifts, and may God continue to richly bless you. It is here at the Fountain that we believe that we are exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and may you receive those blessings that God has in store for you.